Today on the lunch counter, with the growing popularity of farmers markets and more Canadians taking an interest in where their food is coming from, we take a look at eating locally.
Hi, my name is Erna Jensen-Schill. I'm the manager of the Cranbrook Farmers Market, and I believe fully in supporting local farmers, local growers, and eating local food.
Hi, my name is Tamara Mogold. I'm from Creston, and I'm representing the Creston Valley Food Action Coalition. I'm here because I feel eating local is important.
Hi, my name is Christian Kimber. I'm an urban farmer here in Cranbrook, BC. I grow food for myself and my family, my friends, and to sell at the farmers market. And I'm also starting a public produce garden so that anyone who may not have access to gardens or the means can grow their own produce, their own food as well. Are locally grown foods important to you?
Absolutely.
Why?
Why? I think that locally grown foods are tasty, fresh, nutritious. I love going to the farmers market and meeting the local growers and getting a connection to the food that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for the same reasons. They're healthier, I think, and there's probably some sort of evidence to back me up here. They're better for you and fresher. You know exactly where it's coming from if you bother to talk to the farmers at all, and you can make a more informed choice about what you're buying.
I find it really exciting to see what can be grown in the Kootenays and what you can find in your own garden or your neighbor's gardens.
I think people are really, in most regards, most of the population of the planet right now, I think is pretty far removed from food production, and which is really important to me in my heart. I think the more people learn about where their food comes from, the more information they have, the better educated they can be about their food choices.
Just it. It really is about education. If you don't know where it's coming from, you don't know if the person's using a bunch of chemicals, even if they are a local farmer.
The fruits and vegetables, not really. We're hoping for BC, but meat is wild. My husband hunts, so.
Most of my vegetables, yes. The rest, no.
Not really. California maybe, BC some of it.
Do you feel that the average person knows what's available locally or regionally? How do you think we could promote, make it more visible and to show what's available at the time of year?
Unless they're really actively seeking out what's growing in their, well, in our case, the Creston Valley, in your case, the Kootenays or the West Kootenays, they probably wouldn't know unless they're a farmer themselves.
I think that, again, a farmer's market provides an outlet for a lot of folks to be able to actually see, unless they're happen to be driving by fields or gardens and taking note of that.
I do attend the farmers market every weekend. It's not sort of snobbery or anything. I just find that the food tastes a lot better. It doesn't have to travel so far.
We try to do quite a bit to support the local business, and it's fun.
No, I don't, because I'm usually biking at that time of the morning, but my mom goes and she brings me stuff.
I think one of the ways of making people more aware of what's available seasonally is to get people directly involved. The public produce garden, for example, is where people, they might only volunteer or swing by once or twice a month, but they'll see what's in the ground, they'll see what's coming up.
Creston Valley, maybe not necessarily the farmers market, but on might have been the Chamber of Commerce website. I know I would often refer there to sort of see what fruits and things were in season, which I think is a great way to do it as well.
Yeah, we do have visitor guide entries, and we have it on our website as well. But I'm a bit of a skeptic, and I don't think people are really going to take notice until it's right in their faces on a very large scale. I mean, the reason people go to the supermarket is because it's on every corner. If local produce isn't on every corner, I don't think that people are going to take notice.
There's cities all over, especially in the States, where they've been trying it for longer. They've got, instead of having flowers in public spaces, they'll have cabbage heads. And so people see that every day. Every time they walk to the post office, they might walk past a public garden or flower bed. And if we start introducing more produce and food producing ornamentals, or replace our ornamentals with something that actually generates food, I think that conscious will be subliminal and everywhere. I don't think it would take that much rejigging of our public spaces.
And I think the farmers markets, and I know through our social media, we try and also post on a weekly basis what things are coming into season. So it's another tool of trying to get the word out about what's local and what's being grown at that time of year.
So Mary, can you think of any habits or that maybe the consumer, we might be able to encourage the consumers to follow that would increase their use of local produce?
Sure. I mean, I guess a great habit to start up would be going regularly to the farmers market. You can probably get everything you need and more there. I know because I do it. And I hear that straw man argument about it being too expensive a lot. But I make minimum wage, I'm not ashamed to say it, and I buy all my groceries at the farmers market. And I can do it. And it's a lot cheaper. For a lot of the produce, it's a lot cheaper, and it's mostly organic, which would be twice that, if not triple, at grocery store.
A lot of the stuff I sell at the farmers market is very competitively priced with the same product found at local grocery stores. It's often cheaper. And I can do that because price of gas doesn't influence me, price of pesticides doesn't influence me.
You know, some of the books and some of the media that's come out in the last couple of years, including things like the 100-mile diet, whether you agree with that or not agree with that, I think it's done a huge service to the whole eating locally movement, and just that it got people thinking more about where their food was coming from, which I think is fantastic.
Going to my friend's house, he invited me for dinner, and we had venison that he'd hunted, potatoes from his garden, squash from his garden, local vegetables, a sauce from cherries that he picked from his neighbor's tree. It was a fantastic meal. It was as gourmet a meal as I've ever had. Everything was done locally. It probably cost him about $20 total, $20 to $40 for a gourmet meal for 6 people.
I think it is, because it boosts the local economy. It's better if it doesn't sit on trucks.
And I would say it's more natural, with no too many additives and chemicals, and it's healthier for ourselves and our families, our kids, you know.
It is important to me because I really want to see agriculture industry in the East Kootenay that's really thriving, because I think, you know, we're so really remote or isolated. So what if something happened and we got our food supplies cut off? It's really way better if we have a really thriving industry here.
In what cases would you personally say was okay, you would feel okay about buying non-locally?
Well, we still eat bananas at our house. I guess it's habit, and so some of those things are hard to get past. But an active daughter who does sports and loves bananas.
If your daughter likes bananas, well, maybe you can talk her into some apples, because apples grow really well in this area and they're totally undervalued. A lot of neighborhoods in the Kootenays used to have orchards on them, and we still see vestigial orchards, the odd apple tree, and those are fantastic apples. So what is the impact on the local economy when we buy locally?
I think in terms of some of the broader impacts, so you take the money and all those multiplier economic pieces away, but just supporting local area farms and ensuring that, or helping to ensure that farming continues into the future, and that farmers can make a living, and that, you know, landscapes continue to have the biodiversity and that whole element of sustainability.
The local economy gets a lot out of it. The money does cycle quite a bit. And we draw money in from other communities as well. The Kootenays being a tourism destination for a lot of people, the farmers markets themselves are a tourism destination. If money is coming from tourism and going into a farmers market, that's net new money into the economy.
We recently took part in an economic and social impact survey, and once you get all of the numbers added up, it was pretty remarkable for us anyway to see that the Cranbrook Farmers Market, which represents obviously growers as well as crafters and other producers of products in the area, and that economic dollar figure that's generated over the year was over $1 million. So yeah, happy to be a part of that, and I think that can continue to grow.
So have we seen much more interest in the various farmers markets?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, we've done a bit of surveys as well, and we have quite a lot of tourism coming in, especially during the summertime. And Jen Comer, the previous market manager, she's done wonders, and the customers have significantly increased from the time that she started running the market. I think it is being more present in the media, and just word of mouth actually is the biggest advertiser.
We're seeing more people come to the farmers markets, and I think that's a trend not only Kootenay-wide but nation and continent-wide. But I truly believe it's about connections and people making connections with their food, making connections with their community. You see people socializing as much as they're shopping. I think that's where it's headed. Interest is continuing to grow.
It's another thing about our market. It's a socializing event. You meet people, the old friends, and go by those the displays, buy what you need, and chat with the merchants, and chat with the friends.
The Kootenays is such a remarkable place that everyone tends to leave for the weekend. And there are people who are away every weekend, so they're not going to be at the farmers market. There may be, we could go, so there's communities in Kootenays that have co-op stores where it's local producers who are supplying a local store or a delivery service. I think there's maybe the farmers market may take on it could even be a virtual farmers market where you dial somebody up and then there's a delivery or a pickup system. I think there's going to be some interesting diversification as we incorporate locally made food and incorporate that local economy as effectively as possible into our lifestyles. Our lifestyles will adapt, and the market will adapt as well.